Hello everyone, my name's Jo and I'm here today to give you an overview of Springpod and the virtual work experience programs that we've created for you to explore health and care careers locally. So we've tried to make it as easy as possible for you to find these experiences. So you've got access to this hub where you've got some fantastic experiences that have been created just for you to explore those opportunities within Staffordshire and Stoke-on-Trent. So I'm going to show you what's available and how you can get started. Um, but before we start, let's have a look at what is actually available. So there's in fact 350 different careers that you can do within the NHS. So probably a huge number that you've not necessarily heard of before. So there's always opportunities to explore different careers and also progress into different careers. And locally on your doorstep, you may not be aware of this, but you've actually got 145 GP practices, you've got 2 hospital trusts, hospices, and 331 care homes. So you can already see that there's a lot of career and job opportunities actually on your doorstep within Staffordshire and Stoke-on-Trent. So what we've done with these experiences, we want to highlight all of those fantastic opportunities. We want you to explore. So hopefully you're speaking to lots of people today, and if you haven't done so already, then go off and speak to them. But it's a good idea to ask people why they have chosen to work in health and care. Everyone is going to have their own different reasons, and some of them, will be these. So it may be they've decided to work in health and care because there's so many opportunities to progress and lots of opportunities to kind of specialize. It might be that you want a job where it's something different happens every day, so you're definitely going to get that variety. You will definitely be able to work with lots of other people, so team spirit is a really important one, and I'll mention teamwork quite a lot throughout this short presentation. You've probably not thought too much about kind of, perhaps what benefits or packages that different organisations offer, but actually, as you start to think about the sort of organisation or employer that you want to work with, those kind of things are important. So do they offer flexible working? What kind of pension will you get? Again, when you're really young, you don't think about things like that, but as you get older, those things become quite important. So if you're looking for a job or a career where every day is different and perhaps you can make a real difference to someone's life, then the health and care is definitely worth looking at. So you will come across something called the NHS core values. So these are 6 values that you can see on the screen here, and whether you are a porter, a physiotherapist, a nurse, or a doctor, a gardener, or a secretary, you will all be expected to demonstrate the NHS core values. So everyone will be working together for patients. So patients will always come first in everything they do. So they expect everyone to be working with patients in mind and fully committed to providing that quality of care. Um, you will work across all different teams and working together to ensure that quality of care is there. So if you're not aware of these, I won't go through in too much detail, but I would definitely go away and Google what are the NHS core values, because when you come to apply for a job, an apprenticeship, or a university course, you will be expected to be aware of what these mean. It might even be worth asking people today, kind of what do those NHS core values mean to you? So definitely bear these in mind when you're thinking about your applications. So this is quite a nice quote and it kind of sums it up really. So when you're thinking about working in health and care, um, it's important to think that not one job is more important than the other. Everyone is working together. So as this quote says, we are all cogs in a huge wheel and none of us is more important than others. So that's really important, and to be able to demonstrate that in an application in the future, that without the other professionals or the other people that are working in health and care, you wouldn't be able to provide that quality of care for patients. So it's definitely worth thinking about that. So why take part in a Springpod experience? So these are virtual work experience programs. So it's going to look a bit different from going out onto a work placement, but you will be able to use these to discover all the different career pathways available. You'll be able to use these to learn about the skills that you might need for particular jobs and careers. You'll be able to explore all the different pathways available, and importantly, thinking about the opportunities that are available that are local to you. So you'll be building this experience through completing tasks and activities. So it's not just reading things and watching things. We create activities that will give you a bit of a taste and a bit of an idea of the sorts of things that you'd be involved in. And that's really important because it means that you can then reflect on your own choices and think about, okay, would I like to do this sort of thing on a day-to-day basis? So you're making decisions about your future careers, but based, on, because you've built up that knowledge about and that insight of what goes on a day-to-day basis. So we're also really pleased with Springpod because we've partnered with UCAS. So if you're not aware of UCAS, that's who you'll apply through to university through. So when you create an account with UCAS, so you create a UCAS Hub account, you will start to see Springpod within there as well. So they'll be part of that whole discovery journey, and it means that you can then use that experience when you're writing out your application and personal statement. So admissions tutor are going to be looking for that all important evidence as to why you are the right person to do that particular subject or career choice. So do look out for Springpod within UCAS as well. So we've got lots of different experiences available. I'm just going to run through them very briefly, but we've got experiences that are quite sort of general, which will give you a bit of an idea of all the different careers available. So this is a particular one here, which we call Ready for a Future That Cares. So it will look at all the different professionals that are working within that health and care sector. So not just the doctors, not just the nurses, but also the other perhaps non-clinical roles and other people that you might come across. If social care is something you would like to look at, then this is a really fantastic experience because it will allow you to find out more information about the kind of places you might work, whether that's a residential location or a nursing home or in the community. It will talk about the support roles available, also the professional roles, so people like social workers or occupational therapists or counsellors. So really good at also highlighting the different skills that are really important for those particular roles. So things like communication. So how do you deal with a difficult conversation? So why is non-verbal communication so important? All of these are really important skills that you'll need to demonstrate in an application process. It may be that you're interested in maternity. So that is not just midwives, but you'll also have people that work in support roles, and maybe even you might have someone that's screening newborns for their hearing. Um, I think this is really interesting as well because it gives you obviously you think of midwives and babies, but actually midwives will spend a huge amount of time actually preparing and helping the parents and the mothers, so through pregnancy and labour and postnatal. So it will give you a really good idea of the breadth of the role and the sorts of tasks you would be doing on a day-to-day basis. And all of these experiences you will get a certificate for. So every time you complete something with Springpod, you'll get a certificate to say that you've completed it. So once you've submitted all the tasks and activities and work. So it might be that you're interested in mental health. So we've created an experience as well that allows you to look at all the different careers where you could be working in mental health. So that could be in a support role, it could be a nurse, it could be psychology, or maybe a particular focus on children's mental health. This is a great experience if you want to get an idea of who works, the different pathways available in a hospital. So throughout all of these experiences, you will meet people that are working local to you. And again, that's really nice because you'll hear from those professionals that are working within Staffordshire and Stoke-on-Trent. So you've got doctors and nurses, but you've also got nurses, midwives, you've got the allied health professions, which if you're not familiar with that term is refers to professions like the radiographers, the people that you'll go off and you arrive at hospital, you might need a scan, that's a radiographer, or it could be an occupational therapist, or maybe you need to be referred to a dietitian. So there's lots and lots of careers that maybe are not obvious. So what do students think? So there's always lots of really good feedback, mainly sort of students sort of saying how useful it was to almost like try out a career before you actually make the decision to apply. So it's not easy to find real life work experience, so you could definitely use this as a stepping stone to find more in-person work experience or perhaps some voluntary work, because you'll have something you can add to your CV. So whatever you're planning to do, you're going to need that evidence, and this is what these virtual experiences will provide you. Of course, there's lots of other ways you can be gaining evidence for future applications. These are just some of them. So it's worth keeping a log of all the things that you're doing, because it's quite easy to forget all the things that you've done when it comes to filling out an application. So do take advantage of everything that comes your way. So you've got the virtual experiences, but maybe there's some kind of a trip or a visit, or it could be that you watch a talk or listen to a podcast. All of things that these are really useful to support any application in the future. And of course, that all important volunteering is really useful. So this is worth remembering again when it comes back to writing your application. Think of peel. So peel is when you might make a point. That point is not very interesting if you just make a point, but when you start to back it up with evidence, so you're saying what you actually did, and then explaining and reflecting on how that evidence has support your choices, that's when it makes a difference. And then you're linking it back to your course. So at a later date, when you're thinking about writing an application, always thinking mainly it's explaining what you have learned and reflecting on those experiences. So how do you get started? Very simply, you can go to the hub, and then you can just click experiences, and it will take you to the choice that I've gone through today. So you can see the choices there, and you would just click start now. When you click start now, it's going to ask you to create an account with Springpod. So you will need to create an account. So just go through everything very slowly, making sure that you haven't got typos in your emails and things like that, making sure you complete any of the boxes that have got the asterisks next to them. You can see phone number there does not have an asterisk, so you don't need to provide a phone number. You will need to verify, you get a code that's sent to your email, so that's what you'll have to input there just to make sure you are who you say you are. Um, then you're asked to personalize your experience. So we ask you a bit of information about your ambitions for the future. We ask you for your address. If you don't want to give your home address, you can just give your school or college address. You can prefer not to say on a lot of these, but the more information you give us, the more we can personalize everything. So, let us know if you're thinking about going to university and what sectors you're interested in. Then once you've applied, and well, once you don't have to fill out an application form, you can just click start. And then when you want to find those experiences again to continue, you will just go to your dashboard and you'll find them all sat there, so you can just resume them. There's no timetable. You can log in as and when is convenient for you, so you don't need to rush through it. You can take your time. This is what it looks like, one of the programs. So you'll just work your way through modules, loads of really interesting content and activities. So what to take away with you? So enjoy the rest of your day, whether you're just starting or just finishing, but always be thinking about what is the right choice for you. So find out about all the different pathways. It might actually be there's more than one way to get to your particular career goal. It might be there's an apprenticeship route, or there might be a university route. So make sure you're finding the pathway that's right for you. Always say what you have learned from these experiences. So use these virtual experiences as a way of kind of researching, but also gaining that initial experience and thinking about the sort of skills that you need to demonstrate and evidence in a future application. And again, remember, it's so important to be aware of all of the healthcare teams. So you might have a particular career in mind, but I would definitely recommend you do as many experiences as possible, because that will allow you to develop that knowledge of and awareness of what everyone else does within healthcare. So I hope you find them really useful. I hope you enjoy exploring, and make the most of these opportunities and anything else that comes up. So hope that was useful, and have a great rest of the day.